Hello there, guys. I always wait till somebody pops up. See, I got a little crown. You see my little crown? I got that at the 99-cent store. Even though they sell stuff now that's more than 99 cents. I think that was $2. But that's a pretty good deal. It lights up. It's a little crown. Made me think of Michael. I think it's a queen's crown because it's pink, but I don't know. Maybe that's the king. I didn't check to see. But anyway, hi guys. I have some really exciting news for you guys. You know, most of you guys know that I started covering Michael professionally in 2005. It was just a series of events that led me, because I had a TV show called True Talk straight out of LA. It was leased access where we paid for everything, and we even had to pay to be up at the trial. And we produced 13 TV shows, one show for every week of the 2005 trial. So then after we finished with that, Cecil was like, well, why don't we make a documentary? And I was like, yes, great idea. So anyway, we did the documentary called Behind the Scenes at the Michael Jackson trial, right? And we released it on our own. We sold it on Amazon. Nobody picked it up until Papa Joe called and said he wanted to buy it and da-da-da-da-da. Then we found out that the address of and then a distributor called me that I didn't know was related to Joe. Like a year later, I had sent Joe the copy. Then I find out that Michael was involved with a company with Barry Gordy's son, Kerry Gordy, and Jack Wishna. He apparently committed suicide. And but they had a company called Rock City, and the name of the distributor was Rock City. And then I found out the address to my distributor was in the same building, was same address as the Michael Jackson company. Well, we signed that deal 7 weeks before Michael was announced dead. On May 8th, I think it was, 2009, so that it would be ripe and ready so that it can go out to the world to say that Michael wasn't a pedophile. So this documentary was chosen by Papa Joe and Michael to be the documentary that tells people that he's not a pedophile and what happened in the 2005 trial, right? So anyway, so it was distributed in Warner Brothers. It went to 50 million homes. It was internationally distributed. We were never paid quite right for it, but we did. We got some money for it. And we named it Michael Jackson, The Trial and Triumph of the King of Pop, right? Okay, and it was even distributed in China, in which we didn't receive a penny. So we were kind of ripped off on it, but it doesn't matter. I got my copyrights back. It was a 7-year contract. Got my copyrights back. And in the next day or two, we're going to release it free, okay, on YouTube. So everybody can watch it. Now, what I need from you guys is for you guys to share it. I need you to like it. I need you to spread it, because what I do is when we earn some income, we're never in profit mode. You know, these things don't fall out the sky. They cost money to make. We are a licensed production company since 2004, Elbow Grease Productions. And so we always reinvest, okay? So be sure that you share, you like, because we've done that documentary, The Trial and Triumph of the King of Pop. We've done a live 1, a live 2, a live 3. I've written The Pseudocide. Did Michael Jackson fake his death to save his life, which is a CD-ROM, which you can buy online. It's a book with links in it. The links are old because I finished that book in 2010. I'm going to get to all the new stuff, but I got to tell you guys this. And then we did the short film. So I'm always reinvesting. So just rest assured that when you support Elbow Grease Productions, you support our projects, we support Michael, so you're supporting Michael, and we always are reinvesting. So we are still not in profit mode. So anybody says she's profiting off of his death, he ain't dead, number one. Number two, I haven't seen a profit yet. Right? We're still pretty much reinvest in everything. So the Prisoner of Fame is, we've already got the short film. I've only released the trailer of it, which is on my YouTube channel, and I want you guys all to watch it and share it. But I do have a 19-minute short film. It's just not quite the right time to release it yet because of all the drama. But I will release it. I promise I will release it. And I thank every fan that had donated, and they're in the credits. And I got, like, I don't know, hundreds of fans in the credits of my book, in the credits of the Alive trilogy, and the credits of the Prisoner of Fame. So I try my best to give credit. Really, I do. Okay. All right, so that is going to be released, so that's exciting news. So you guys got to share, you got to like it, you got to make sure that you continue to support us so that we can, you know, do more Michael stuff, okay? All right, now let's get down to the nitty-gritty of what's going on. One of the things that I really try to do is I try my best to get what I consider the most impactful or the most interesting stuff that's out there that proves that Michael Jackson is innocent. And I try to gather that up so, you know, so everybody doesn't have time to, you know, watch, you know, as many videos as I do and find as much stuff as I do. So I try to gather it all up so that it's easier for you guys. So let's get started. Still more stuff. Can you believe that? Still more stuff. All right. I got to thank the French M6. The French. They got down. They were their best interview to date. Okay. With interviewing Dan Greed, the director. He thinks he's so smart, but he really isn't that smart. Okay. There was a psychologist, a fan, and some other guy on there, and they really challenged them, and they knew their stuff, and it was really impressive. So I'm going to go ahead and turn my camera around, and I'm just going to show you guys that it has subtitles because they're talking French, and Dan Greed talks fluent French. Okay, but this was so good, you know, and there was a psychotherapist, and she said, well, I don't understand why they're not mad at the mama. Why aren't they mad at their parents? If they believe Michael is dead, the only person that they really can punish and get justice from is their mothers. You know, and I know in the movie, Chantel, Wade's sister said, I was afraid my mother was going to commit suicide like my father committed suicide. Another thing that came out was that, I don't know if it was in this video or in another video, that Wade's father was a victim of child molestation. That was strange. And you know, Wade's father committed suicide, I think, in 2002. But so maybe, you know, I don't want to put anything out there, but he's dead. You know, so I don't know if he abused Wade or not. Okay, and maybe Wade is taking what happened with him and his dad and putting it on Michael. I don't know, but it's awfully weird. You know, and the dad committed suicide too, and he was bipolar and depressed, and they want to blame everything on Michael. I've been looking around at Wade's history with Michael. There is nothing that shows that Wade is mad at Michael or was mad at Michael or had any issues with Michael until, you know, he ran out of money in 2011 and 2012. And then he started thinking, him and his wife, because I put her in this too. But anyway, this was really good. Another thing that they said that I thought was really, really good. So if you want to see this, you know, take the time out to watch it, because it is definitely worth your time. Let's see what I thought. Whoa, Dan admits, let's see. Oh, and then he says, Michael slept with kids thousands of times. How you know? Okay, he says, everybody knows. How do you know, Dan Greed? Okay, you weren't there. You never even met Michael. Okay, so please. And then Brett Barnes and Michael spent at least 300 nights together. How do you know? Did Brett Barnes tell you that? How would you know that? Okay, so, and then Dan Greed talking about evidence. He says now there's soiled sheets. Okay, now there's soiled sheets that don't, as far as evidence, and there's no soiled sheets that have any DNA of any child. They looked as much as they did. Now I want to talk about kind of the history of Wade real quick. It was March 2013. Let me get this. Let me turn the camera around. It was March 2013 when Wade met with the attorneys and got Gradstein and Marzano signed up. And I don't know why any lawyer would sign up somebody who swore under oath twice that Michael never molested them. There's nothing but words coming out of his mouth. He has no proof. All he can say is that he knew Michael. Okay? And then you're going to get a big top-notch law firm to do this? They saw dollar signs, cha-ching. That's what they saw, dollar signs. And it had to do with Michael Jackson and with everybody being so sensitive about children, believe them. Of course you believe children, but you need something to go with it, especially if they testified under oath. Okay, especially if they've testified under oath a few times. So I find the whole thing suspicious. It was May 7th that it hit the news that there was going to be a lawsuit filed. May 7th, the lawsuit Wade filed against the Michael Jackson estate and his companies was filed on May 10th. And on May 13th, he was already on Matt Lauer's show. So it went real fast. They had it all set up. They had it all planned. And they knew that they were going to try it in the media. And that's why I believe that it's an extortion attempt. Because unless you pay us money, and that's why Wade filed under seal at first, we're going to expose this. So that's if you don't, I will. Okay? So I believe that this falls under extortion. I really do. And I think that the estate needs to look into this. Okay, so I did that. Okay, so I got through with that first page. And then they talked about money, right? The psychologist on the French channel, she said, how is money going to fix this? Why are you suing for money? And then Dan Greed said in another interview that I have up here, let me get it. It's only, I think, a minute interview. And let me close these down. And I'm going to talk about this. I'm going to play this. I'm going to turn my camera around. I'm going to play this. And then we're going to discuss this because fans have been circulating this. All right, here we go.
Saying, look, these guys, they're just out for money. And in fact, they sued for money. What's your response to that? That this is all about the money. That this is why this is happening now, and that they're lying. They're just out for the money. Well, from a dead man who cannot defend himself.
It is all about the money. But it's all about the Jackson estate's money and the Jackson family's money.
The Jackson estate, again, the Jackson family.
Let's unpack that. Let's unpack that. Okay, it is all about the money. He's doggone right. And he's found a way to, instead of being on the defense, to be on the offense. And you should always be on the offense. So when he says it's about the Jacksons' money, they've worked for 50 years for that money. Michael started working at the age of 5. Okay, when he joined his brother's group, 5. Michael's 60 now. So we're talking about 55 years of working, doing it the legal way, doing it the legitimate way, giving a lot of money to charity, hundreds of millions of dollars to charity. We Are the World, feeding those African kids, and We Are the World, we're responsible for each other. Charities where Michael paid for people's funerals, and Michael, paid for people's surgeries, and, visiting hospitals just to give kids hope, to stay alive and be strong. He's going to talk about the estate's money as if you're trying to steal the estate's money, Dan Greed, Wade, ROBson, and James Safecheck. You're trying to steal their money. So don't come back. He always got some old quick comeback that's like kind of sassy, like a perfect little answer. It is about the estate's money. They've earned it the right way. You're trying to steal it, Dan Greed. Okay, and he is losing the battle, and he knows, okay, because he's out on the trail promoting this because he says he didn't pay Wade and James. So this money is coming in his pocket because he's probably got percentages on this. Okay, and this is his ticket to being a well-known director. Well, you're going to be infamous, which means your name is going to go down in flames for this debacle and this provable, lying, fabricated child pornography film. Okay, so see me and my K's. Okay, I want to talk about Jussie Smollett real quick. Jussie Smollett, real quick. At first, when they said all charges were dropped, I was like, "Whoa, wait a minute." I didn't quite understand it because they were forfeiting his $10,000 bail, and he had to go spend a couple days in community service at Jussie Jackson's Rainbow Push organization. But then Jussie says, I've been telling the truth the whole time, blah, blah, blah. Then you have the mayor and the police chief going, he's lying. they've caught him and all this other stuff, and they sealed the information, and the police chief and the mayor said they found out that the charges were dropped and dismissed when we found out with the press conference and all this other stuff. Look, Jussie, I believe Jussie is tripping. He's losing his mind. Okay? For him to come out and go, I was telling the truth, I wouldn't be my mama's child. See how people use little cute little phrases to make it seem like they're telling the truth? Like Wade's phrase, I want to tell the truth as loud as I screamed a lie. That's a nice little phrase, isn't it? But it's BS. And this is what manipulative people do. They say truthful lines that usually make people go, yeah, that's right. When it's a lie and it's a straight manipulation. Okay? And then, I wish I was there to tell the truth back for Jordy and for Gavin. I wish I was there for them. That's another bunch of BS. Okay? Because you had an opportunity to stop the pedophile, and you did not. And you used him and used him and used him, and when you couldn't use him anymore because you thought he was dead, you concocted with your wife this scheme. And I'm going to prove to you how nice they were, because Wade and Amanda, because you guys already know that when she said she was also a survivor of child abuse, but then in the documentary she says, I was incredibly naive, I didn't know how to handle it. Then they took it off of their website. Okay, their charitable website, when the minimum offer is $250, $500, and $1,000 that they opened just weeks before it aired on Sundance. I mean, this is really, really, really bad. This is really bad. Well, anyway, they used Michael until they just kept using him. I already told you guys that Wade, during the 2005 trial, when Michael's fate was not yet determined whether he was going to go to jail for 20 years or if he was going to be free, him called and asked Grace, can me and Amanda get married at the place he was molested hundreds of times? Okay, please. And when Grace said, I ain't asking Michael, he's suffering right now, then the mama called. Okay, and they wanted to get married in the fall. So this would have been, whether Michael goes to jail or not, we get married on your land. Can we get married there? Because we better ask you now before you go to jail. I mean, how absolutely selfish is that? And Grace was absolutely correct by telling them, no, I'm not asking Michael. This is bad. Let me tell you guys, I'm getting ready to turn my camera around and show you guys something else, okay? And show you guys something else. Because it really does upset me. No, not that one. Not that one. I have them. Okay, here we go. Okay. Wade and Amanda have dreams of producing film and being writers and all this other stuff. And one thing about Hollywood that you'll know that's very difficult, especially if you grow up in Hollywood, everything costs so much money. Everything's so expensive. The best people, the best cameras, the best this, the best that. Well, even though my stuff is professional and Cecil and I do it professionally, we're not rich. So you'll find that maybe I should have done more coloring to blend it, but everything is there. All the information is there, for everyone to see my documentaries. Now, The Trial and Triumph is the first documentary I ever did. Okay. But Michael loved it and Joe loved it. So, I hope, and it went all over the world and it did really well. Gravitas told me it did really, really well when it was in 50 million households. Well, anyway, I'm going to turn my camera around and I'm going to explain something to you guys. This is Wade and Amanda's, one of their YouTube pages. Wade and Amanda ROBson. This is one of their YouTube pages. So in 2007, they got married in 2005, but just not at Neverland. So this is one of the short films they did, and it's this girl that's dancing, and it's kind of a little bit on the dark side, okay? Not just because she's a black dancer, but it's just kind of a little bit dark, But anyway,
it's right there.
Here it is. Look at my, look at that.
Stop.
Okay, this is,
Let go.
Look at that. That's Michael's wishing tree. Okay, where Michael wrote songs.
Breathe.
where Michael wrote songs and everything. And this is when Michael was Michael had just got back in the country, I think, because he was gone until Christmas Eve, 2006, because he went to James Brown's funeral, because James Brown had died on Christmas Day. So this is a film in 2007. So as soon as Michael gets back, they're back asking for stuff. Look at this. You know, Michael would sit there and he would write some of his most famous songs, and this is on the property of Neverland. Okay, I'm gonna go fast forward this to because early on it's kind of dark. Look here, it's kind of dark, and you know, and I'm sure this girl's a great dancer, and it has nothing to do with her. She was hired by them, but it's just a little weird. It's a little angry. You see, it's a little angry, a little mad, you know, and it's just an art form of expression. Okay, so here are the credits. Here, I'm gonna see Concept by Wade and Amanda. Okay, and then I guess that's the dancer maybe, and then produced by Wade and Amanda. And choreography and music composer Wade ROBson, so he plays musical instruments too. Voiceover is Amanda, and then that somebody helped them, the gaffer. He's the one that go here. But here we go. Okay, Wade and Amanda ROBson would like to thank Eckhart Tolle, whose profound teaching inspired this film, MJ, for allowing us to use his sacred land, Grace for making it happen, Joe Marcus for his tireless effort. Where is the anger that Michael did anything to you these years? There's nothing, Wade, nothing. Because you're using Michael as much as you possibly can for everything. And when you thought he was dead, you still wanted to use him. Still. Now, I know that I'm upset and I'm mad because it's just not right. It's just not right. Turn my camera around. It's just not right, guys. Okay? So I have more stuff that I'm going to go over with you, but I just wanted to make sure that I showed you guys that, because they're users, just like James Safechuck's mother. Michael lent them money for a down payment of a house. They defaulted, and Michael was tired of trying to collect it and said, just keep it, and she's going to brag on camera. So I guess Michael bought us a house. These are users. These are not good people. They're not good people. I believe that all of them are in on it. And I believe it's a conspiracy. It's an extortion attempt in a conspiratorial way. That's what I believe. Okay, so here. Now, what do we have that from Michael? Michael is the most photographed person probably in the world. Okay, there were cameras all over Neverland. Okay, so Michael, and they raided Neverland twice on surprise. In 93 and in 2003. They raided it on surprise. Okay? Michael had cameras everywhere. I'm sure they took every videotape camera that they had. Nothing. Found nothing. And Michael goes everywhere. So, and people are always got cameras and things. It's so absurd for people to think that Michael was molesting these people hundreds of times. And there's nothing. No DNA anywhere. No soiled underwear. There's a story of soiled underwear. Bloody underwear. There's a story of it, but there isn't any. Soiled sheets without any kid's DNA in it or anything like that. Okay? So, what is all this? It's all BS. I'm telling you, it's all BS. Okay? Michael Jackson, also, we're talking about from 90 to 94, pretty much, were the dates. 88, which is what James Safechuck said, from age 10 to age 14. So 1988 to pretty much 97, 98. Michael was not even in the country. Okay? Michael was not even in the country. It was one of them, okay, it was somewhere I had a document where it showed, and I'll go ahead and I'll post that. I'll post the link on my Facebook page. But there was a document that let me see if I can find it. There was a document that where Michael was in a deposition for the Victor Gutierrez case, and and Michael, let me see if I can find it real quick. Gutierr. Well, where Michael says that he was not even, here it is. I found it. I'm gonna turn my camera around. Found it just that quick. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna turn my camera around. Where Michael wasn't even in the country. Okay, from 93 to 97. He wasn't even in the country. So Wade said from age 7, Wade was in 89, he was age 7 to, and then 89, 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95 to 95, 96. Okay, 96. Michael says here, and he signed it right here. I have not lived in California for 7 years, dating back to approximately 1993. I do come to California infrequently, but not not at all regularly. My deposition in this case was taken in New York, where I was living at the time. So this was the Victor Gutierrez case. So where is these hundreds of times? That's why they're in line trying to get an album to Michael Jackson's history album, him and his mama, with a little love note. And his mama had a crush on Michael, and I'm sure the other mama had a crush on Michael too. But Michael had a crush on June because Michael talked to the kids and the mama. And then the fathers really liked Michael, and they trusted Michael. Okay, so he wasn't even the country. But if we want to take those years into effect, Taj lived there during the 93 allegations. Taj Jackson, and Taj and Brandi have been doing a great job. He lived there through the 93 allegations. So Michael was molested during the 93 allegations. Okay. There was Michael's friends. So Michael was a little playboy. And like I said, if you had a sugar daddy like Michael, and you were introduced to sex, you were conditioned to have sex, and I already talked about the Pavlov dog, and it happens to be homosexual sex, which just means same sex, you got the same penis that I got, okay, you got the same sexual equipment that I got as homosexual, and you don't grow up and want another sugar daddy like Michael, you're heterosexual? And then Brandi said her and Wade were together all the time, and there is even proof in another legal document. Okay, let me get that one. Let me get another legal document. Come on, all my legal stuff. There was another legal document where Brandi and Wade slept in Michael's room. Let me show you that. So during this time, there was James, there was Wade, there was Macaulay, there was Brett Barnes, there was Jordy. Michael was a playboy, wasn't he? But nobody got any proof. Nobody got nothing but just words coming out of their mouth. It's all copycat because Michael paid that $20 million that his insurance paid, and everybody else from that point on said, I could say the same thing and I can get me 20 million or even 100 million or even 1.5 billion, whatever it is that they're trying to extort from Michael Jackson's estate. Okay, I'm gonna turn my camera around. Here is Brandi. This is a deposition 5505. No, this is Wade. This was done May 5th, 2005. I think this is the day that Wade testified in the 2005 trial. As a matter of fact, it is. Okay, let's read it. Okay, let's read it together. Were you there? Were there ever any girls other than your sister at age 7 who actually spent the night in Mr. Jackson's room with you during the years that you knew him and spent the night in his room? Yes. Okay, so there were girls. There were girls there. Who? There was Brandi Jackson. He says, I'm sorry. Brandi Jackson, who is Michael's niece. And she spent the night on how many occasions with you? Only one that I can remember, one night. Okay, so if Michael is sexing up, let me turn my camera around. So if Michael is sexing up Wade, why is he letting Brandi sleep in the room with him? And Brandi said they were together all the time. She would have noticed it because she knew about the 93 allegations and which, she knew about the 93 allegations. So she was on, her antennas was up, boy, right? to see a little twinkle in the eye, or him and Michael leaving her in a room by herself or something. Because he said every time that he saw him, this happened. Remember Wade said every time. How did it happen every time? Was Brandi in the room? When that happened, that ain't every time. When Brandi spent the night. Or Brandi just was that oblivious and that dumb and just, you know, she was like, I was watching, I was paying attention. So from 93, 94, 95, and 96, because he said it happened from age 7, which is 1989, right? Because he was born in 82, 87, 89 to 96. So Brandi would have noticed it, but she didn't. So Wade is a liar. And this is horrible. They think everybody's stupid, and we're not going to, there's no other witnesses there. We got Taj living there all of 93. Michael saying he didn't live there from 93 to 97. Very often he wasn't there. This is all just ridiculous. I'd like to thank a couple of people that are supporting Michael. James Whitlock, who is a famous, kind of controversial sports announcer. Not announcer, he's kind of a commentary. He does commentary on sports. He did a whole thing on Michael Jackson where he was talking about sports and everything. And this was recent. This was a couple days ago. And it was using Michael's song like Man in the Mirror, Want to Be Starting Something. You know, it was just Smooth Criminal, and he just did a whole thing. So thank you so much for supporting Michael, because we got to support, though. We've got to be glad. We got to be happy to support all those that we can. Remember, right after the death announced, the song "Can You Feel It? Can You Feel It? Can You Feel It?" You wonder why fans in so many countries are, you know, if Michael's supposed to be dead for 10 years, why do we all care so much? Right? This is some important stuff to us, right? Can you feel it? Can you feel his spirit? Can you feel that he's still alive? And I bet you, even the fans that don't have an idea, don't know where it's coming from, why they feel so strongly to support Michael. It's because I know that once you watch my Alive documentaries, you're going to know that Michael Jackson is still alive. He faked his death. Now that brings me to also Marlon Wayans supported Michael. Thank you, Marlon Wayans from the Wayans brothers. Thank you. Right now, Dr. Drew and Rabbi Schmuley. Rabbi Schmuley's talking junk. Rabbi Schmuley believes the Wade and James. Even though I don't think he's ever met them. But he had Michael over to his house, broke bread with Michael. Michael trusted him to write a book called The Michael Jackson Tapes, which was done in the year 2000 and 2001. It's a death hoax clue. Does Rabbi Schmuley know that Michael Jackson is alive? I don't know, because Michael had people do things, but he didn't explain to you why he was doing them or what was the point in doing them. He just did them. Okay, so Rabbi Schmuley recorded Michael's conversations, and it was a deal that they had. And the book was supposed to come out after Michael Jackson died, which there's plenty of proof in Alive 2 and Alive 3 that Michael planned to fake his death during the Invincible album. But the day after they recorded the second day of the 30th anniversary, which was September 10th, the next day was 9/11. Michael was in New York, and those Twin Towers got hit. So Michael was forced to postpone. But look at the song, the albums, that's where the Butterfly song comes from, and Heaven Can Wait, and Threatened, and He's the Living Dead, and Invincible, and Unbreakable, and, you know, and the album looks like a ghost, and I'm telling y'all. Okay, well, this was a part of Michael Jackson faking his death, part of the promotions for it, too. Performance art. Call this performance art. I did a video about performance art and Michael Jackson. Turn my camera around. Rabbi Schmuley, his book did not get very good ratings either. Okay, I think it's like 2.5 stars or something, and he's out talking smack. He must want to be on some more TV shows so he can talk smack about Michael. And Michael, you are learning right now who are the turncoats and who are not your friends. Paul McCartney too, talking smack. Anyway, check this out. This was the Michael Jackson tapes, Rabbi Schmuley. Look at this. The Elvis tape. Is Elvis alive? I'm telling y'all. I have this in my first Alive. My first Alive that was on Netflix from 2011 to 2013. Okay. This is Michael copied Elvis's death hoax as much as he possibly could. Okay, so this is another one of the death hoax clues. And I remember in this book, in this Rabbi Schmuley, Michael talked about certain girls that he liked, right? And he said he liked girls, and he always picked the girls that he was kind of attracted to be in his videos. So all you love interests, Michael liked you girls. He liked you. Okay, that's why he picked you to put Naomi Campbell, Ola Ray, whoever else was in the videos. He liked you guys. He talked about one girl that he liked, and I think her name was Myra. Really pretty black girl. She's from Holland or something. And he's talked about, I liked this one girl, but every time I turned around, she was in the lobby of some hotel room that I was in all over the world. And the only person I knew that did that, and that Michael knew, and I knew her too, and she was devastated when the death announcement came. I am talking about torn to pieces. Okay, and then she was mad at me because I didn't believe that Michael Jackson was dead, so I became an enemy, even though we had liked each other up into the death announcement, but she was just so distraught because her whole life, she became a, now I'm not sure he was talking about her in the Rabbi Schmuley book, but he said that it was a little turn off when girls chase you too much, you know, that he was talking about in the Rabbi Schmuley book. Okay, but anyway, that was a death hoax clue. Now that brings me to the Glenda tapes, which were done in 1992. Okay, where Michael talked. Okay, where do we have Michael talking about women? Okay, where do we have him talking about love interest? The Glenda tapes. There's like 6 or 7 of them. No, 15, where she was recording Michael Jackson, and they're talking about Michael's love relationship. So I'm going to turn this around, and I'm going and it's transcribed for you guys, so you can make sure that you can listen to these Glenda tapes. But I thought that this one was really kind of good. Some girl named Kathy, and he talked about Tatum O'Neal, and he talked about Diana Ross, how he liked these women. Okay, so I have it queued up. So we are going to listen to Michael talk about his love interest and what he wants out of a relationship.
Tell me something. You want I am. But how can you be that way when there's so many people? Because I don't love those people. I want to be with someone. I want to know what a relationship is all about before I die. Can you understand that, correct? Yes. I've never had, I've been with Kate, I've been with Kate. I thought I was with Diana. It was just in my own mind. You were up on the boy. I know. I have never had a relationship. My brothers have been married. My brothers have had girlfriends. I really haven't had that. How long did it take you to get over Diana? Years. A hell of a long time. I just want to know what it's like to have a real relationship with someone who doesn't want me for me, that I don't have to look over my shoulder all the time. That's enough about your emotions? Yes. It doesn't question me. I don't, and like Toya said in her book, she said, either I'm going to have to find somebody who doesn't even know who the heck I am, or deal with somebody who's got their career is equally as important or equally like mine. To both of those. What am I going to do? I don't want to die without knowing about this, having a real relationship with a woman who is involved. I was involved, but we never did anything. We never stepped away. But that was your decision. That wasn't hers. I wasn't. The girl fucking had my nose wide open. Okay? Take a garbage. Come through my nose. That is the craziest. Black man. Black man. What is it with the nose? I don't understand how your nose can be wide open. No, it has to come from somewhere. Someone said that they did. I don't know. I was just wondering if they were thinking when they made it up. Okay. But I loved her so much. God. No, it was
We're the Tatum and,
I dealt with it when I was She came up to me in a club, we were in a club. And she put her hand on my Anything, I would give her money, I would give her jewelry, I would give her a house, a cup, whatever. Really never good enough. It was like, you know.
well, she wanted all of me, Michael. She wanted a relationship.
She knew how I was from the beginning. It wasn't like
Well, she was probably hoping that it would change. Because I'm sure she was
not until I got here.
I know that, but I'm sure that she loved you and you were.
Okay, guys, my camera's getting hot, but you can listen to all those tapes. Okay, Michael's talking about being with a woman in '92. There is nothing that he's saying about a little boy or some mystery person or somebody else, and so this is what we have of Michael from '92. Proof of his love interest and how certain women he tried to have relationships with, but it was really hard for him because he's so famous, he's so rich, who's going to love him for him, you know. And one of the things that he does in this tape, which is like my friend Peter Michael Bobby, Watch Alive 3, okay, that I believe is Michael Jackson, I have plenty of evidence, is there's a lot of like time where it's quiet because he's thinking. It's the same behavior, the mumbling, it's the same basic behavior, okay? But anyway, let me digress. This is what we have of Michael talking about a relationship in '92. So this is supposed to be the height of Jordy, because Save Chuck was supposed to be from '88, okay, when he was 10, but then he talked about '87 in the Bad Tour and Thanksgiving, but '88 to '92. So he wants to get married to a woman. He says girls. Diana Ross, he took him a long time to get over her. He was in love with Diana Ross. When he was with that, there's a photo shoot where it has Jimmy Hearns, the boxer, and he's got that shirt on. Ooh, him and Diana, that photo shoot, she was all over him in that photo shoot. Okay, and you could see one picture, he looks like he's lovesick, like she got him all excited and then nothing happened. They call that blue, I ain't gonna say the word, but you know what I'm saying. Okay, so and the photographer talks about how Diane was all over Michael that day with that I think his name is Jimmy Hearns, the boxer. Okay, what's his name? Hearns? I can't remember his first name. But anyway, he has that shirt on. So take a look at that photo shoot. Anyway, there's a lot more, so you can listen to that yourself and find out this is where Michael's love interest was back in the early 90s. So we have nothing at all from Wade and James. And I already told you guys that Michael put down a deposit on Neverland in the summer of '87. But he wanted to buy Neverland in '83 when he did the Say, Say, Say video. You guys are so smart. Say, Say, Say video. Because that's when he recorded that video there and he wanted to buy it there. Buy that land. So James Safechuck talking about Michael bought it for him is a whole bunch of malarkey. It's a fantasy. Just like the wedding is a fantasy when they bought sunglasses and figurines. They didn't buy a ring. James Safechuck is bad. They're all bad. They're all users and they're all bad people, Michael. You always say you have you're a bad judge of character. You trusted the wrong people. Okay? You know, and I know you were naive, and I know you're looking for true friendships and all this other stuff, but so many people that you have broken bread with, even with I'm the Man. What's that? Love Lives Forever is in that one. Somebody's going to correct that. But that's a song that Paul McCartney did. Okay? You broke bread with Paul McCartney. Now Paul McCartney's saying, yeah, he was cool, he was nice, we were friends, but I didn't know he had a dark side. Because he didn't have one. You're believing some liars that are proven liars. Either they're lying now, which everything shows that they're lying now, or they were lying in front of a stand and they allowed an abuser to keep abusing. And then when they had a chance to stop the abuser, when Michael had 2 boys in his house living with him, his 2 sons, Prince and Blanket, he needs to be with them. And then you lied about you. That's what made, when Paris wanted her daddy's attention, that's when you knew that you should testify and allow him to be with the abusers when Prince was around the same age you were. And then you're going to say your little toddler son, who was not the age that you were when you were molested, that triggered you? When you think Michael's dead and you don't blame your mamas for it? Come on, this is all just so much hogwash. So much hogwash. And I do feel sorry for the kids that were really, truly abused. That you got poster children now that's going to make it hard, that are liars, that's going to make it harder for any kid to be believed. Okay, so we went through that. So we know that Michael's talking about getting married and wanting to find love, wanting to be in love with a woman, and the love interest that he had. And then he talks about some woman named Kathy, if you guys want to listen some more. I don't know who Kathy is. You guys might know. I don't know who Kathy is. Okay. Remember there was a woman that Brenda Ritchie said in 1991 that Michael was engaged to, and they broke up, but then Dante's about that age. I'm just saying, I don't know. I'm still going to do the video about the 3 alleged sons that Michael's supposed to have, the black sons that Michael's supposed to have. I'm still going to do that video, but right now we're still in the midst of this, and I just can't pull away from this to go and do that research, but I will. Okay, but I don't know if that chick's name was Kathy or not. I don't know, but Brenda Ritchie knows who she is. So somebody reach out to Brenda Ritchie, okay, because, you know, and ask her, okay, who was the woman that Michael was engaged to in 91. All right. Okay. So, let's see what else. We're moving along pretty fast. There's a death hoax clue. There's another death hoax clue. Let's see. There is another. Let's see what this is. I'm gonna find it. Before I get to another death hoax clue, let me go back and let's turn the camera around. I think my camera is, hopefully my phone is cool enough to where I can play this video and turn my camera around. Okay. All right, here we go. This video, it's called 100% Proof Michael Was Innocent. It's only 1 minute and 33 seconds, but it's really, I think it's profound.
There was a streak of suspicion in me. I had to get rid of that, and that's why I suddenly confronted him under hypnosis.
Uri Geller.
I asked him, Michael,
hypnosis,
did you ever touch a child in an inappropriate manner? And Michael answered immediately, no, I would never do that. And then I asked him, well, why did you pay off Jody Chandler? He said to me immediately, I had enough. I couldn't take it anymore. You know, I brought him out of the trance. He never knew this. To me, this was a private validation that this poor man is innocent.
Hypnotized. Since there's no proof and there's no evidence, here we are, hypnotized. And Uri Geller sounds very sincere to me. You know, he said he can bend spoons. Who remembers Uri Geller bending spoons and all this stuff? And this was in 2004. Okay, this was after they raided Neverland for the second time in 2003, November 2003, they raided Neverland for the second time with 69 police officers. They went through everything. They ransacked the place. And Michael said he never wanted to live there again, but he had to live there while he was going through the 2005 trial, in which he was acquitted 14 out of 14 counts. And please, guys, watch my documentary. I will upload it, called Michael Jackson, The Trial and Triumph of the King of Pop. And please support me so I can continue to support Michael. Because if I don't, money runs out. So if I don't make enough, I'm going to have to go to work. And I can only do Michael, part-time. But I love you guys, and I love doing what I do, and I love my company, Elbow Grease Productions, and Michael just took over my whole company. He's just taken over my whole company ever since 2005. I never knew when I got a degree in radio, TV, film, journalism in 1989 from Cal State University of Northridge, that Michael was going to be in my world. But I always knew, even as a kid, and I grew up 7 miles from Michael. I lived in North Hollywood, and Michael lived in Encino, and it's 7 miles away. I did the MapQuest. It's 7 miles. It's a coincidence. And I could have went there so many times, but I just didn't, because I never wanted to be like a groupie. I always knew that I would play an important role in Michael's life, even though I did go there a couple times. Okay, I went there once, and it was late after night. There was a club like somewhere on Ventura Boulevard, and I went to that club, and I knew Michael was right around the corner, and so I went there. The security guard came out. He's a black dude, and I said, "Is Michael home?" And I said, "Tell him Billie Jean is here." And he kind of laughed, but he looked like he was a little flirty, right? And another time I had went there, it was Valentine's Day, and it was, oh gosh, I think it was in the 90s. No, it was in the 80s, because Alana was a baby. It was in the late 80s. And it was Valentine's Day, and I had some friends from out of town. My boyfriend at the time had some friends from out of town that were from Rhode Island. And we got to see, and they were so happy. They took pictures with Jackie going in, Tito, and Marlon. It was so sweet. And they just like, yay! We went over there. But I could have went there every day and hung out, but I didn't want Michael to know me like that. I just knew, I had this premonition that one day that him and I would be like best buddies. I know it sounds crazy, but it's the truth. Okay, so we're moving right along. Okay, now there are death hoax clues. I don't always go for every death hoax clue. You kind of got to prove to me that a death hoax clue is solid and that it's good. Like, I do not believe that Jack Crooner is Michael Jackson. I do not believe that. And the reason why I don't believe it is because I have no proof that Michael can speak fluent native Farsi, number one, Persian language, or do the compatible perfect Persian accent. And Jack Crooner is bow-legged. Michael's more knock-kneed. Okay, so these are the reasons why everybody with the mask. I don't believe that Teddy Perkins was Michael either. He's just too tall. I do videos about that. Okay, I got a video, so scroll my channel. I don't believe those things, but I do believe Peter Michael Bobby Anderson is Michael Jackson, and there's reasons, because he does things with the estate, he does things with Paris, he does things with LaToya, he predicts things like the hologram. He predicted Came and Hugged Me in Macy's. You got to watch Alive 3 for all that stuff. Okay, and there was a Janet song that me and Peter Michael Bobby were on the phone, and we were talking about Sulfur Gold from Ashes. Some of you guys know who that is, some of you don't. And we were talking about at the time, Sulfur Gold from Ashes was releasing a lot of videos, who I believe is Michael with a mask on. You guys got to see it, okay? And that brings us to this person, this independent inquiry, because in Alive 3, there's also a chat room. Of course, Peter's in the chat room. It's from Russia. Okay, and Russia does not have an extradition treaty. So is Michael in Russia? I don't know, but I've been on Russian TV twice. Okay, I don't know, but they don't have an extradition treaty. Anyway, this independent inquiry, she was the first person that released this chat room where you can hear Michael talking, you can hear Michael singing a cappella, and it was all recorded after the death announcement, because these songs weren't released until the Michael album or the Escape album. They weren't released until the Escape album. Okay, so you just watch Alive 3. But anyway, this person here, Independent Inquiry, the girl that first released those, and then somebody else, Peter uses people to release them and all this other stuff. Anyway, oh, so for Go From Ashes. Okay, let me tell that story. I'm sorry. So anyway, so once I was on the phone and we were talking about Janet and her music, and I said that the song, oh my God, what's the name of the song? Oh my goodness. Anyway, it's a Janet song, and she talks about her period, right? Like the first day of your period. And I thought, oh, Janet, girl, you ain't got to get that raunchy, my God. And feedback. Yeah, feedback. And so I was telling Peter about feedback and how I didn't really like the lyrics. You know, this is just him and I talking on the phone. We talk about everything, 1,000 hours or more, 1,300 hours, somewhere in there. And so anyway, so the next day, So for Go From Ashes dances to Janet Jackson's feedback song without the lyrics, without the words. So there's a whole bunch of stuff that he does that's affiliated with his family members, the 777, Bobby Anderson's birthday, and oh my God, to where no one else has that. No one else has that ability except for him. And the memorabilia and all this other stuff. Plus, he sounds like him. And I did another video about this device you put up in your mouth to change your pronunciation, because Peter Michael Bobby sounds like he has a lisp, but not all the time. Sometimes he'll talk to me on the phone in exactly Michael's language, voice. And of course, I don't record it because it's against the law to record someone in California without their permission. So I don't know where he is, but I don't engage in that because I'm trustworthy. So every recording I have, and I have plenty because he's online all the time, you know, so it's not like it's a secret. But anyway, this person here, Independent Inquiry, she did this video, okay? Now, The Great Forever. Okay, I was hard. Okay, guys, I was hardcore. I didn't think she said, don't believe that Michael is dead in the video, because it doesn't really say it. It says, don't believe Michael is, and it tapers off. And so you gotta, so I was never quite real to me that was Michael saying it. But we gotta listen to this video, okay? I have it queued up, and hopefully my phone is cooled off enough. So we're going to turn the camera around. Oh, my phone is acting so nice. So this is the girl, Independent Inquiry. Okay, her name is Tina Jazam. And just listen to this for a second. Okay, so a lot of fans have been saying this, and yeah, I knew about this when it first was released. It was a big death hoax clue, but I never really promoted it because I wasn't quite sure that she said it, and it was ambiguous until somebody, and I'm so sorry whoever you are, tell me who you are, who sent this to me. This was really good. I have to cue this. Okay. This was really good. It has to do with sneezing, and it has to do with a biblical verse, okay? But I'm gonna play it first, okay? Here, and then also it sounds like Michael. Let me do this first. I'm gonna play some of it where she said she took it down a couple of octaves, and it sounds just like Michael. What you think it don't mean nothing at all. Change you I am. It doesn't change your love. Okay, so that definitely sounds like Michael, right? So The Great Forever, and Forever is another one, like the song on the Michael album with the 11-11-11 at the end of it that Michael wrote, Best of Joy, and they talk about forever, forever, which means you're not dead because you're still alive, and just like the Ankh symbol that Michael wore. Michael also wore Ankh symbol on his pants for the family's last meeting at the Indian restaurant in May. And then Michael had during the filming of This Is It, he had an Ankh symbol on his red jacket and a black jacket. But anyway, I'm going to play this, and this has to do with a biblical voice. Listen to Okay, did you guys hear that? Somebody sneezes. Okay, let me put it back. Let me do it again. Okay, somebody sneezes. Okay, why would you put a sneeze in a song and say bless you unless there's a real reason for it?
Because he will only divide. Bless you.
Okay, now bless you is what people say when there's usually a sneeze, right? So then this woman sent this to me. I think it was a woman. She sent it to me, and of course I have it saved. It has to do with the biblical verse, right? So here we go. And it has to do with Elijah, and it has to do with the Shunamites, Shazamites, or whatever. I can't say it. I'm sorry. I didn't know about this, okay? I didn't know about this. But it's about, was telling the king how Elijah had brought the dead back to life. The woman whose son had revived came to appear the king in her land, blah, 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 blah. But here we go about the sneezing. Where's the sneezing? Oh, here we go. Okay. Elijah turned away and paced back and forth across the room. Then he got on the bed and stretched himself out over the boy again. And the boy sneezed 7 times to open his eyes. Elijah summons Gehazi, I hope I'm saying that right, and said, call the Shunammite woman. So he called her and she came. Then Elijah said, pick up your son, because the son came back to life. So if that's really bless you regarding the sneeze, now it could be, because now I got more. So I usually look for, I'm gonna turn my camera around. I usually look for like at least 3 things when I'm trying to see if something is a clue or something isn't a clue or something like that. So I'm not an easy win on the clues. All the clues that I put in my Alive trilogy are really, really super good clues. They're really strong. And most fans say they have to watch them like several times because there's so much information. I'm hitting you bam, 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 bam. Okay, with all kinds of clues and proof and evidence and all that other stuff. I don't know if this is a clue from Brandon Howard, who I believe it all matches that Brandon Howard can be Michael Jackson's biological son. He was just born at the wrong time. He was born in 1981. April 2nd or 3rd. You know, Paris, I think, is the 2nd. I think Brandon's the 3rd or something like that. But 1981, which was before Michael Jackson became the mega superstar. He had the success of Off the Wall album, and he was just beginning to cross over to a worldwide phenomenon, even though the Jacksons were worldwide. I better hurry up before my phone starts tripping. So Brandon Howard, and I will do the video. I will do the video. I've interviewed Brandon, so you can listen to my thing. Just scroll my YouTube channel. But anyway, this is something that he did. This is Brandon Howard from his page. Is this a clue? And and Peter always, uses this logo all the time, and he has a keychain and he has all kinds of stuff, and it says Neverland Ranch, and he's saying never left. So is he saying Michael never left? Well, if he's not dead, he never left. Okay, so I have a few more things. I have a few more clues that I'm going to just bring up real quick before my phone cuts off. This is Wade and James, okay? Who sent this to me? Fabio. He posted this, and then somebody sent it to me. These do not look like men that have been molested. I think this is the after the show at Sundance. Look at them. They're as happy as can be. Look at that. You've been molested. You're telling the world you were molested. The movie, you should be sad and unhappy. Anyway, there's just more. Okay. Michael, they never mentioned Michael's vitiligo. Ever. Okay, Wade and James, you wouldn't forget that as a kid, especially Wade said he thought he was going to turn into a werewolf. So if Michael showed you his body and you having sex hundreds of times and you're seeing, oh yeah, in the Glenda tapes, he does mention spotted dick, but it's supposed to be a pastry, but it's weird that he brought up the spotted dick in the Glenda tapes, right? Which I thought was kind of funny. And they also talked about a media, faking your death in the media too in the Glenda tapes, so they're worth listening to. But anyway, here's Michael. This is the vitiligo. Okay, so Michael, this is a young James Safechuck hanging with Michael. Look at the money. Look, he's throwing up money. Okay, Michael should have knew this kid too happy with money. Okay, look at Michael's vitiligo. So there is no way that you would describe having sex with Michael as graphically as you did and not mention vitiligo? It would have scared you as a kid. You wouldn't have wanted to go back to Neverland. You wouldn't have wanted that. You're scared. You think he's a werewolf. You don't know what that's going to turn into. The vitiligo, the spotted body. So they're liars because they don't talk about the makeup. Like, let's say Michael covered himself up with makeup. It would have got messy. It would have got on things. Karen Faye told me that the makeup that they used ended up getting on a whole bunch of stuff, and it became too messy. Okay? All right, so that's just another piece of BS. Okay, you guys know that I talk about the cryonics, that I believe that the dead body that went through the system was a cryonic body double. And it explains itself with the benzodiazepines, it explains itself with the propofol, and also there was a lot of talk at the time that Michael was cold, he was hot, he was half cold, he was half hot, he was freezing, the house was hot, and all this stuff. This is from LaToya's book. And I think, I know Mjjjustice has sent me some more things. Kath has sent me some things. My lights are off, so I can't really see. But if you gave me a clue and you want credit, just tell me and I'll put it in the description of the YouTube video. But this is Paris saying, Daddy was always cold. She said, Daddy was always freezing. Daddy was always freezing. There, you know, what's all this freezing talk, right, about Michael being cold? Because he's given us clues that he used a chronic body double. And then, this is in LaToya's book, I immediately noticed that the house was extremely hot, even though this was a mild night in late June. Why is the house so hot? I asked Michael, who is Michael Amir, who was Michael's assistant. Michael always kept the heat on because he was freezing, Brother Michael said. That's Brother Michael Amir. He's telling us that Michael kept the heat on. And I go through this in the long version of my short film, Prisoner of Fame. I use this. And it says, in the house, it says, in this house, so hot only because Michael was freezing, or did someone turn up the heat to try to keep his dead body warm, so it looked as if Michael died closer to the 911 call than he really did. There's so much evidence out there that Michael Jackson faked his death and used a cryonic body double. Even Dr. Sherlyn Lee, she talked about Michael saying half his body was hot and cold and all this other stuff when he wanted the propofol. Why was Michael using propofol anyway? You're not touring yet, and you're not even touring. You have a residency. And you said the most important place for you is on stage, where you feel the most comfortable, where all your self-esteem is the highest. Why are you worried? You now know new songs, new choreography. Michael was not taking propofol, okay? Please watch my Alive trilogy to find out the real use of propofol, why that body had too much propofol in it. Please. Okay? It's very smart. The Alive trilogy is very smart. Oh my goodness, it's getting so dark that I can't read my notes. Let's see. I think I went through everything that I kind of wanted to go through, guys. And if I didn't, I will go through it at another time, right? And you guys are just so wonderful. I love Michael's fans. So I think I've talked about everything. I'm just going through my notes. And so if Jussie Smollett is not punished for a hoax, Michael shouldn't be either. Okay? Because Michael didn't break any laws faking his death. I've looked. All right. So, I did the wishing tree. Let's see if I have some more notes. Let's see. I think I'm done. Okay, guys. So look forward to and another thing. Robert Kraft, the owner to the Patriots, now certain people are saying, well, we're going to hold off. Let's not convict anybody till they're proven guilty. Except for Michael Jackson, of course, and R. Kelly. Well, R. Kelly, honey, you married that 15-year-old and you got away with it. So there's something on you. With Michael, we have nothing. And he had to be the most scrutinized. You know, the FBI was surveillancing him and 10 years. It's stupid for anybody to believe that Michael Jackson was a pedophile. He liked to hang around boys, like boys hang with boys because they like boy things and boy toys and talk boy stuff. And the same video games is different than girls. Okay, so Michael hung around because he was trying to have the friends that he didn't have when he was a kid. So he's trying to make up for all that, and he wanted to be like Walt Disney. So if you want to say because Michael had Ferris wheels and all this stuff that was a sign that he was a pedophile trying to, trick kids into coming to his house, well, what about Walt Disney? It's just not right. Michael wanted Neverland to be like a Walt Disney. Okay. And I think I'm done, guys. I am done. So be on the lookout for the Trial and Triumph of the King of Pop that I'll be releasing the next day or two. And I love you guys so much. And I will see you next time.